What the fuck did you think was gonna happen?
While she's spewing this fucking garbage out of that sewer hole in her face.
For like $150 million fucking dollars to Pakistan?
Oh, hey everybody. Didn't see you there. Thanks for tuning in. Welcome to Couchside Rants. My name's Jim Artle, and I've decided to start this little video series. And what are we going to discuss? We're going to discuss anything that you would sit on the couch and rant about. Could be a good thing, could be a bad thing. Alright, so today on Couchside Rants, we are going to discuss the video that was put on Instagram by Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Oh yeah, we've all seen her in the news ever since she's been elected. She's been like the hot young thing in Congress. Some of her ideas, I think, are just downright fucking retarded. Her and her Green New Deal and all that shit. Well, recently, she decided she was going to put an Instagram video up describing what she went through at the insurrection at the Capitol. So, we're going to start with a clip from MSNBC. And you know me, I'm going to pause it and I'm going to speak my fucking mind on it. So, without further ado, let's get started.
I just want to listen to a bit more of what Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez says about what it felt like when she finally did choose her hiding place. Let's listen to this.
So I hide behind my door like this, in the bathroom behind the door. And then I just start to hear these yells of, "Where is she?" I just thought to myself, they got inside. It felt like my brain was able to have so many thoughts in that moment.
You know, I'm pretty sure that was a really traumatic experience for you, AOC. Because something tells me your fucking brain isn't used to working that fucking hard. So yeah, I can imagine that would be pretty fucking traumatic.
Congressman Porter, what was that like for you? And did you know just how deep Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez's fears were at that time?
Well, at first she saw me, and we waved. I went into my office, and a couple seconds later, she knocked and she said, could we come in? And I said, of course. And she began to, her staffer was trying to describe what had happened.
Okay, so now we have Representative Katie Porter telling us how the insurrection is going on, but she had time and was calm enough to wave at AOC. And then AOC came running over and just politely asked, "Hey, can we come in? I don't know about you guys, but if I'm somewhere where a lot of shit's popping off and I need to run and hide, I'm not going to ask. I'm going to run into the fucking office and I'm going to slam the fucking door and I'm going to be all frantic. I'm not just going to walk in and leisurely say, can we come in?" Jesus fucking Christ. This store is going to have more fucking holes in it than Swiss cheese. I guarantee you that much. Definitely more holes than Swiss cheese.
And Alex is really usually like unfailingly polite and very personable. And she wasn't even really talking to me. She was opening up doors. And I was like, can I help you? Like, what are you looking for? And she said, I'm looking for where I'm going to hide. And the thing that will always stay with me.
Please, Representative Porter, please, I really want to know. What is the one thing that will stick with you about this whole situation at the Capitol? Come on, the one thing you will never forget. Please, we really want to know.
Thing is, she was wearing heels. And I remember her saying to me, I was wearing flats. And I remember her saying to me, I knew I shouldn't have worn heels.
Wait, hold on. I can't touch this right now. Hold on. This calls for something a little more, a little stronger. You know, we got to do this right. Yeah. This one needs a whiskey. Yeah. Cilantro. There's an insurrection going on at the Capitol. AOC politely comes to your office and asks to come in. She's rooting through all this shit. You ask her what she's doing. She's looking for a place to hide. And the one thing you're going to remember is that she was wearing high heels. And you were wearing flats. Holy shit. You fucking people. This is so fucking fake. There's wow. Good job. Representative Porter is wearing flats. AOC makes the comment, I shouldn't have worn heels. Why? Because you knew it was going to happen? Because maybe, just maybe, the Democratic Party put Antifa up to this little stunt. Maybe. But, Representative Porter, in this time of crisis and traumatic experiences, what did you do? Did you look at AOC and say, well, take your fucking heels off, bitch? Run barefoot if we have to. No. You didn't do that. What'd you do? Come on, tell us. What did you do? We really want to know.
And we went and we found her a pair of sneakers to wear from one of my staffers.
You found her a pair of fucking sneakers. There's an insurrection going on at the Capitol building where you are, and you have time to find AOC a pair of fucking sneakers. And you want us... That's funny. And you want us to believe this shit. Jesus Christ. So, that little snippet that we just watched with Representative Katie Porter was on MSNBC, as you saw in the taglines on the screen. Now we're going to flip over to another newscast, and we're going to break into two different subjects here. At one point, we're going to skip back to the AOC video because it's going to show a different perspective, and I'm going to connect the dots on some lies. But now we're going into a point that I see, and Tucker Carlson has pointed out, and that's the fact that everyone keeps saying right now we're watching history being made. No, what we're watching is we're watching history being written according to a certain narrative. And that narrative is destroy anything that is not left-wing. If you don't agree with the left, you're going to be crucified. You're going to be hunted down like criminals. This is only the beginning of a new Nazi regime. It's just like I've been saying in my last videos. It's something that I believe, and the evidence is out there, and we just have to watch it. So please, do me a favor. Pay attention. If you agree, you agree. If you don't, you don't. But look at a totally different perspective.
We're watching our own history being written before us right now. Consider this clip. It is from MSNBC last night. In this clip, famous historian Michael Beschloss compares what happened at the Capitol on January 6th to what happened to America on September 11th.
This was a president of the United States inciting an insurrection, a terrorist attack on Congress. We observed 9/11. We remember the fact that there were attacks that landed, one that almost landed, which was an effort to fly an airplane into the Capitol, kill a lot of members of Congress. That almost happened. Here is a terrorist attack that did happen.
First of all, I have no idea who Michael Beschloss is. I have no idea. Never heard of the fucking guy. So, I don't know how credible he is. But let me tell you something, you dirty fucking cocksucker. You do not compare a protest, some might classify it as a riot, at the Capitol building. You don't compare that to the tragedy America faced on 9/11. There's no comparison. The two are not anywhere near being the same. You fucking douchebag. Thousands and thousands of people lost their lives on September 11th. I know. I was alive when it happened. I had a newborn baby. I was holding her in my arms watching it happen on TV. That is nothing like what happened January 6th. And for you to insinuate that and then stand there and call the American citizens who protested terrorists, you're a fucking piece of shit. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Fucking douchebag.
And that's just the history being assembled in print and on cable news, which at this point, and let's be honest about it, are the media of choice for those of us who lived in a world before the internet. They're media for older people. For Americans under 30, history is written exclusively on social media, and that's where the real demagogues live. Tech platforms are the domain of people for whom factual reality is not even a consideration. It's a completely different way of thinking. Once you've decided that biology itself is not real, you are free from the conventional restraints of reality. Ideology is all that matters. Sandy Cortez is a master of this medium, of course. Watch her description of the events of January 6th, broadcast to kids across the country on Instagram.
I jump into my bathroom and I close the door and I just keep hearing these bang, bang, bang. I open the door when all of a sudden I hear that whoever was trying to get inside got into my office. And I just hear, "Where is she? Where is she?"
Holy shit. Okay, here we go. Remember earlier in my video when we watched the snippet from MSNBC and I said, hey, we're going to come back to the AOC video because there's something else I want to talk about? Yeah, well, here we go. Now we're back to that shit. So here's AOC from more of her video on Instagram. And what is she describing this time? I dive into my bathroom and I hide behind the door. And I hear banging and banging and banging and banging. And where is she? And where is she? And where is she? And then I realize, oh my God, they're in my office. Excuse me. How can they be in your office if you're supposed to be in Representative Porter's fucking office? I don't know about you, but that's a pretty significant inconsistency in this whole fucking story. If you ask me, somebody's lying. The dots don't connect.
So we played clips like that for you before, and we've always made fun of them. There she is again, defender of the common man, yammering on about the only subject she really cares about, herself. Anyone who was physically present at the Capitol that day knows it's ridiculous. There were no rioters in Sandy Cortez's hallway. Trump voters weren't trying to kill her, neither were other U.S. senators. A lot of the rioters were angrier at Mitch McConnell than they were at any Democrat. Lindsey Graham was likely in graver danger than Sandy Cortez or Ilhan Omar. They were literally calling poor Mike Pence's name. But at this point, the truth doesn't matter. What matters is who gets to write the history of what happens, who gets to define what the truth is. They're the ones who will control the future. That's why they're doing it. There's a reason that within hours, Democrats began describing the riot as a racial attack. It was confusing to hear that at first. If you watched it and knew what happened, we were completely confused. Awful as it was, there was nothing racial about what happened that day. Claiming otherwise is absurd. It's a fantasy. It's a lie. But no one pushed back against that lie, so they kept repeating it. Now, weeks later, it is the accepted version of what happened. Powerful lawmakers just say it from the House floor like it's fact, like it's been proven in some objective inquiry, and everyone knows it's true.
America has been through a civil war, world wars, a Great Depression, pandemics, McCarthyism, and now a Trumpist and white nationalist insurrection.
White nationalist insurrection. Again, it was awful. It was not that.
Jesus fucking Christ. Really? Out of all the people they picked to fucking spew this shit, it's Adam Schiff. This guy looks like he keeps little boys locked up in his fucking basement. He looks like the kind of guy that would sit there on the school bus and lick the fucking window. And he's going to sit there and say that we have survived a Trumpist and white nationalist. Can somebody please, somewhere out there in the universe of the fucking internet, show me one piece of fucking evidence that supports Donald Trump is a racist and white nationalist? Seriously, come on. This white supremacy narrative is fucking ridiculous. Because there is no evidence out there that supports Donald Trump is a racist, a white supremacist, a fucking Nazi sympathizer. None of that shit. And now you want to sit there and call the people that agree with his ideology the same? Y'all motherfuckers are poking a bear.
But you've got to ask yourself, why are they claiming that it was that? Though almost everyone is too cowardly at this point to say it out loud. And the answer is this. They're saying that despite the fact they know it isn't true, so they can lump you in with the people who broke into the Capitol and punish you for crimes you did not commit and never supported.
Even at the seeming height of the crisis immediately after 9/11, there really weren't that many members of al-Qaeda in Afghanistan. And the thrust of our campaign there was, yes, to hunt down al-Qaeda, but primarily to remove the supportive environment in which they were able to flourish. And that meant fighting the Taliban. And I think that is the heart of what we need to deal with here. Hunting down people who are criminals.
Hunt them down like al-Qaeda. And to be completely clear, we're not overstating this. We are not hysterical. We're just close listeners. By them, he means Americans who were nowhere near the Capitol on January 6th, had no role in what happened that day, and didn't support it. That's the assessment from a former CIA official who spent years hunting al-Qaeda in the Middle East. No one in Washington appears to think this kind of talk is alarming in a formerly peaceful republic like ours. Just today, Senator Mitch McConnell, the leader, sent out a tweet blasting Vladimir Putin for some misdeed or other. In the U.S. Senate, Russia is still the real threat. Not quite as upset about China somehow.
Let me see if I'm understanding this correctly. Because I just want to make sure I'm not misunderstanding. You know, I want to make sure that my brain is working and I heard what I just fucking heard. So the Democrats in the far left are saying anyone who follows Trump is a white supremacist and a terrorist and we need to be hunted down. And then the Republicans, the leader of the Republicans, fucking Mitch McConnell, is saying everything is Russia's fault. Check out this fucking picture, because if I'm not mistaken, this is fucking Joe Biden's press secretary wearing a pink fucking commie hat with the Russian emblem on the front. Why is it the Republicans are claiming fucking it's Russia, the Democrats are saying we're terrorists, and Trump colluded with the fucking Russians, but yet the press secretary for Joe fucking Biden, good old creepy Uncle Joe, is over here wearing a fucking Nazi, a communist fucking hat. I am so fucking confused. I don't think anybody knows what the fuck is going on. All I know is this is a whole crock of fucking shit, and you and me, the everyday average American fucking person, is being taxed to death and persecuted as being fucking Trump supporters. Get the fuck out of here. Jesus fucking Christ. And you fucking wonder why we're pissed off. You wonder why we gathered at the fucking Capitol. By we, I mean the American people. I had no fucking part in that. Had I known about it, that may have been a different fucking story.
But what McConnell didn't mention, and almost never does, are his own voters, the ones now being reclassified as al-Qaeda terrorists and treated accordingly. Quote, "We defeated al-Qaeda and can do the same thing to the fascist thugs who attacked our democracy last month, but only if we take similar hard measures against the enemy within."
So Kevin Carroll says, holy fuck, this just blows my fucking mind. There were 5 dead in an attempted coup d'etat. Doesn't say who the 5 dead were or how they died. The most important thing was it was a coup d'etat. The last time I checked, a coup d'etat was the overthrow of a government through military force. There was no military present. There was no militia present, as understood under the Second Amendment. And if you don't remember that video, a militia is a group of citizens organized for military service outside of the government. So it's not the army, it's not the National Guard, it's free citizens who gather for military service, usually to overthrow a tyrannical government. So Kevin Carroll is saying what took place on January 6th was now a coup d'etat. So we've gone from protest to a riot to an insurrection, and now we're at a coup d'etat with no military presence, no weapons whatsoever. Dude. And on top of it, he's saying that we can defeat the fascist thugs the same way we handled al-Qaeda. The enemy is within. When the hell is the American people? When did we become the enemy? We're American citizens. We have a right to say what goes on in our country. And if we are unhappy, we have the freedom of assembly. Now, yes, I get it. That assembly is not meant to be through violence. But when the people are left with no other choice and they feel that's the only thing they have to do, they're going to get violent. But at what point do we as American citizens stand up and say, our government is out of control? This shit's ridiculous. And I'm going to close this with a hit of my medical marijuana. A shot of Jameson. And some beer. And I'm going to say, farewell for now. But I promise you, if you miss the enraged, angered, yelling and screaming Jim that you saw in previous episodes, don't worry. My next video is gonna be a screamer. Until then, I'm Jim Artle. This is the Couchside Rants. You guys have a good night.